So I bought an electric scooter, and you would think that buying an electric scooter would be an easy choice, right? You just go online, you find the ones you like, you buy it, you take it home, you ride it, and everything is gravy. But what if I told you it wasn't as simple as I thought it was just a couple of months ago when I wanted to buy my first electric scooter? Coming up in today's Hobart Reviews, I'm gonna go over 5 or 6 things that you need to know that nobody else is telling you before you buy your first electric scooter. Stick around. Hey everybody, welcome back to Hobart's Reviews. My name is Hobart, and I know it has been a while, and that is what I've been doing for the last several months, researching my very first electric scooter. So going back a couple of years, me and my buddy were looking online on Alibaba, and we were seeing these electric scooters and these electric mopeds and going, wow, that'd be really cool, huh? He ended up getting a couple of them, and he brought them over here, and we rode them, and it was just like, oh, this is incredible. Unfortunately, tragedy would strike my family just a couple of months later on Halloween night, and it involved these electric motorcycles. And later in the video, I'm gonna share that story with you. There's a lesson in there that we had to learn and how we're still dealing with it today. But first, I wanna get to 5 or 6 things that I wish somebody would have told me before I bought my very first electric scooter. These are things that are not on the top 5 list over on YouTube. These are things that I found out after doing a lot of research into the subject and going, I'm glad I didn't make that bad decision. So let's go ahead and get to number 1. All right, let's go ahead and talk about number 1. Number 1 is gonna be, what is your budget and what are you gonna be using the scooter for? And those two go hand in hand because depending on what you're gonna be using your scooter for will depend on your budget. And what I mean by that is, if you're gonna be using it for commuting, you don't necessarily need all the power and the speed and the performance. You're looking for range. And that's gonna be a lot less expensive than somebody who is looking to go super, super fast and have lots and lots of power. When it comes to commuting, you'll be looking for something in the $1,000 range or maybe a few $100s under if you get lucky on something that has 20 to 25 mile an hour top speed, but has 40 to 50 miles in range. Now, when you're looking for something in the performance sector, that is gonna be someone who is paying $1,500 to $7,000 and is gonna be looking at something that goes 40, 50, 60, 70 miles an hour and has 40, 50, 60, 70 miles of range. So as you can see, if you want performance, you're gonna be paying a lot more than somebody who just wants to get to work. All right, let's talk about range. So this is something that you need to know before you buy your electric scooter. So every scooter has a stated range. This one, for instance, has a 40-mile range, but you're almost never going to get that unless you ride it as slow as possible, weigh absolutely nothing, have it in eco and single motor mode, and then you might be able to get to that range. So when you're looking at an electric scooter, especially for commuting, you need to pay attention to the mileage and the range that it gives you. You're gonna be getting between 50 and 75% of that stated range at full performance. If you wanna ride at 5 miles an hour and you weigh 80 pounds and you wanna go into single motor and you wanna go to eco mode that limits you to 12 miles an hour, okay, you'd be able to get 40 miles from it. I'm gonna at most maybe get 25, 30 miles at the most if I'm really careful with this 40-mile range. So if you're commuting, don't get something and say, I gotta go 17 miles, so I'll get a 20-mile scooter. You're only gonna get 10 miles, maybe 12 miles out of that at full performance. So that's just something to think about when it comes to commuting and the stated range of these electric scooters. Something else that's very important is the type of tires and suspension that your electric scooter has. A lot of the inexpensive $300 to $1,000 electric scooters will have solid tires. That means there's no air in them. And they also won't have a suspension. So if you ever try to ride a scooter that has no suspension and solid tires, you're in for a bumpy ride. So as a minimum, I would say, make sure your tires have air in them and make sure you have a front and rear suspension at the very least. So the second thing that you need to know before you buy an electric scooter is what brand you buy definitely matters. Now, when I first went online and was looking on Amazon for an electric scooter, I saw hundreds of different options. There were some that were lower priced that had better specs, and then there were some that were higher priced that didn't. And I was trying to figure out, well, how do I know which scooter to get? Well, it turns out it's extremely important. Let me just put it this way. This is a new thing. Electric scooters, electric bikes, everybody wants them as fast as they can. When I started looking around online, I saw a lot of different scooters, a lot of the no-name scooters that people were complaining about because it had quality issues from the start. When they tried to contact support, there was none. And when they tried to get parts, they couldn't find any. So one of my big lessons here is to purchase a scooter from a well-known brand that has some sort of after-sales support and has lots of parts available. When I found Nanrobot, Nanrobot has Roadrunner scooters in Colorado. Here in the US, I can get parts easily from there. I can order online from the Nanrobot store. It may take a little longer, but there are plenty of parts available. I could basically build another scooter with it. Unfortunately, with these no-name brands on Amazon, you're gonna get the scooter and there's nobody there to support you afterwards. There's no place you can get parts. You can't go online and find a controller or a battery for a Jing Jang scooter because nobody's ever heard of that. It's a seller that bought a scooter, a generic scooter, put their name on it, and they're selling it. So the lesson here is to make sure that you get a scooter from somebody who has great after-sale support and has lots of parts available, because the last thing you want to do is save up all that money and buy your electric scooter and it breaks and you're not able to get parts or have any type of support. All right, number 3 is gonna be warranty. You wanna make sure that you get a warranty with the electric scooter that you buy. The last thing that you wanna have is that you buy this electric scooter and a few months later something breaks on it and it's expensive and you don't have the money for it and you've gotta buy it because you have no warranty. And I was talking to you about those no-name scooters just a minute ago. A lot of those have no warranty. In some cases, they'll give you 3 months, maybe 6 months if you're lucky. But if you go with a company like Nanrobot or Dualtron or Apollo or Cabo or a few others, you're gonna get a 1, 2, even 3-year warranty, meaning if anything happens to it in the first year or 2, 3 years, they're gonna replace those parts absolutely free. Now, yes, a lot of them are gonna send you the parts and you're gonna have to do the work yourselves, but what I liked about Nanrobot is that they've got videos on YouTube on how to do everything. Roadrunner Scooters in Colorado made a bunch of videos, so if I wanna change a kickstand, a battery, a controller, a tire, anything on there, they've got a video for that, and I really like that, and that's one of the reasons why I chose Nanrobot. All right, so let's talk about warranty. So something that I found out that I wish somebody would have told me, but I'm gonna share with you that's very valuable, is that when it comes to the warranty, it matters where you buy the scooter. What I mean is, if you were to go on Amazon and look up the D6 Plus, you're gonna find 6, 7, or 8 sellers that are offering this scooter, but you're only gonna get the manufacturer's 1-year warranty and support if you buy it from the official Nanrobot store on Amazon, not any of the other sellers. If I were to buy it from another seller, maybe they had it $50 less and I wanted to get a better deal, I would be at the mercy of that seller's warranty, not Nanrobot. And if I were to contact Nanrobot, they would defer me to that seller and say whatever warranty, if any, is gonna have to go through them. So you gotta make sure that if you don't buy it from the official website of that manufacturer, that you're buying it from the official store of that manufacturer so that you can still take advantage of that warranty. And speaking of warranty, coming up later in the video, I'm gonna share a special tip on where I was able to get my scooter covered for an extra 2 years for under $100. Stick around, that's coming up later in the video. Let's go ahead and get to number 4. All right, so let's get to number 4. Number 4 is, where is your scooter shipping from? This is something that I didn't know, that I wasn't aware of until my buddy got his scooters from China. Now, you can go on to Alibaba, you can get scooters and e-bikes and things for a few $100s cheaper, but you gotta pay attention because you're gonna have some pretty crazy shipping costs on there, and that of course adds to the total cost of your scooter. You also are gonna have to pay duties and taxes and possibly tariffs. Currently, we still have a 30% tariff on certain things coming from China. I'm not 100% sure if electric scooters and e-bikes are in that category, but if you do, think about what 30% of $1,500 is, plus taxes and duties and other fees. At the end of the day, you might actually save money by buying it from a company that has it in a European warehouse or has it in a US warehouse, because you won't have to pay any of those extra fees. So number 4 is, make sure that you get your scooter for somebody who's shipping outside of China. So remember a few minutes ago when I was telling you that I had a warranty that you could get for under $100 that's gonna cover your electric scooter for 2 years? Well, I'm gonna have a link down in the description to the Assurian plan that I bought on Amazon that will cover my scooter for 2 years. That means that if anything happens in the first year during the manufacturer's warranty, anything that they don't cover, Assurian will cover with no deductible. After the first year, when the manufacturer's warranty is up, they will cover 100% of everything for a whole nother year, all the way up to buying me another scooter absolutely free. And it only cost me $89. So I'm gonna put a link in the description for you so you can get the same plan for your electric scooter and make sure that you're covered with some sort of warranty just in case something goes wrong. All right, number 5 is gonna be safety. And I know it's something that you don't wanna talk about, but it's something that we need to talk about because these are not toys. I know when you look at the ads on Facebook and on TV, they're riding their little Segway and oh, it's so fun. You don't need a helmet, you don't need pads, but that's not the real life. That's not the case. When you have something like this that has the pickup of a Tesla Model S Plaid and goes 40 miles an hour, which is super fast on something with this small of a wheel on it, then you start to understand, yeah, I might need a helmet and some safety pads. I've seen plenty of stories online when I was doing my research on scooters where people were breaking their wrists from falling, they had head injuries, face injuries, road rash. I mean, the list goes on and on, all from something like a rock in the road, a rabbit jumping out in front of you, a car that stops in front of you, stuff that you may not even have any control over may happen to you and you're SOL. Now, earlier in the video, I was telling you that I had a tragic story about my family that involved my friend's electric scooters or electric motorcycles. Well, unfortunately, 1 year ago on Halloween, me and my wife were riding those electric motorcycles after going out with them, and we were just saying to each other, wow, this is so great. We need to get a set of these so we can do this as a couple thing. Well, not 30 seconds later, my wife was turning around on an asphalt road. There were ditches on each side of the road, and she accidentally hit the throttle and went into the ditch. That caused her to fall over, and the scooter landed on her leg and cut both legs, or both bones in her leg, broke them right in half. She was now stuck in a ditch, in the mud, in the water, with a leg that she could not walk on. When I pulled the bike off of her, I saw that her leg was hanging like this and said, oh my God. So I had to call 911. She went to the hospital, she had surgery and had a titanium rod put in her leg to try to give her strength and to try to get those bones to heal. Until this day, she is still going to physical therapy and she's still recovering from that accident a year ago. So that shows you that you never know. You could be going 0 miles an hour and just turning around and something could happen and you could be in trouble and you could get hurt and it could last a lifetime. So that is why I got the safety gear that I got. I'll put a link down in the description for you. I ended up getting an LS2 full face motorcycle helmet with not only just the DOT, but also the ECE certification. Now, what is the ECE certification? Well, let's start with DOT. In the United States, the DOT certification is voluntary, which means nobody checks it. They just say, yeah, we tested our helmet and it meets those standards. With the European standard, the ECE certification, they actually take the helmet and they test it themselves to make sure that it holds up to what the company says it does. And so by getting a helmet that has ECE additionally on top of the DOT, you're making sure that somebody didn't say, yeah, it's good enough, and that somebody actually tested it. Now, when it comes to my pads, I was watching YouTube videos, and one of them I found was a bunch of skaters that were testing these pads against some of the less expensive pads. And what they found out is that the less expensive pads will kill you if you get in an accident. These guys, they were jumping from the top of a half pipe on their knees and had no issues whatsoever. The other ones, well, they gripped right away and smacked their face right into the half pipe. So the 187 Killer pads are really good pads. I've jumped down on my knees onto the ground myself and I felt like I was falling on pillows. So I'm gonna put a link in the description for all my safety gear for you if you wanna go ahead and buy them. And that's pretty much all I got for you today. I hope that it gave you some kind of value, that you learned a little something today, and that you make a really good choice when you're buying your first electric scooter. My name is Hobart. I appreciate it. This is Hobart's Reviews. Have a great rest of your day. See ya.